Last stand on the homestand, the Diamondbacks ready to hit the road for Tampa, Texas, and Boston. But first, one more game here at home at Chase Field, the series and homestand finale against the NL West rival San Diego Padres. Sanderson Ford presents Arizona Diamondbacks baseball here on Fox Sports Arizona. Good afternoon from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. And Bob, so far through the first two games of the series, it's been feast or famine for both teams, really. A 10-0 win and a 12-3 win, one for each side.
You know, there are games during the course of the season where you'll rack up a lot of hits and score a lot of runs, but not really hit the ball well. That was not the case Friday night for the D-backs. They were throwing line drives and gappers all over Chase Field. Unfortunately, the same thing can be said for the Padres offense in that ball game last night. The good news is Patrick Corbin taking them out for the D-backs today. Hopefully the Padres offense will slow down. We'll
be back with some lineup changes for you. Well, 8 scratch for the Diamondbacks. Jason Kubel out of the lineup and A.J. Pollock inserted in there, all in support of Patrick Corbin. The lefty all-star is on the mound for the Diamondbacks this afternoon in this series and homestand finale against the San Diego Padres. The ace on the hill, national anthem, and the first pitch coming up here on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball brought to you by Sanderson Ford. The series and homestand finale here against the San Diego Padres. Then it's a travel day tomorrow. The Diamondbacks will play 2 at Tampa Bay against the Rays. A makeup game in Texas, and then they'll spend next weekend at Fenway Park in Boston. And now dressed in their Sunday Sedona red, the Arizona Diamondbacks taking the field, Bob, and we'll wrap up this long homestand.
Yeah, we would hope for better things in this homestand, and hopefully it'll finish on a positive note here today. We've seen some signs of the offense snapping out of their doldrums. At times the pitching has looked really good. The bullpen continues to be a little bit inconsistent, but win one here today and take your chances on the road.
Good news for the Diamondbacks. Aaron Hill back in the lineup after getting a game and a half off with a hamstring strain. Just a precaution, said Kirk Gibson, but Jason Kubel, a late scratch. Set to honor America here at Chase Field. The voice of Chase Field, Chuck Drago.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and please remove your hats. Please direct your attention to the field as we honor the United States of America and pay tribute to our veterans, active duty, and retired men and women of our armed services. Presenting our colors today, please welcome the Phoenix Police Honor Guard. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the San Diego Padres invite you to join in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by representatives from Special Olympics Arizona, including athletes Caden, Max, Hannah, Connor, and Sarah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
The finale of the series and the homestand, Padres and Diamondbacks. It's been a wild one so far. The D-backs winning Friday night's game here, 10-0 on 17 hits. The Padres returned the favor last night. Bud Black's team beating the D-backs 12-3. And they got some help from some walks and some big hits. And now the rubber game of this three-game set. Here's the lineup for San Diego tonight against another left-hander, this time Patrick Corbin.
Everett Cabrera at the top. Chris Denorfia, a guy to keep an eye on today. 7 for 13 with 3 homers and 2 doubles against Patrick Corbin. Not many guys can say that. Chase Headley in the 3 spot. Carlos Quentin cleaning up. Jesus Guzman in right field. Yonder Alonso at first. Logan Forsythe getting the start for Jed Jerko at second base. Rene Rivera doing the catching today. And Tyson Ross, the right-hander, on the mound for the Padres.
Patrick Corbin for the Diamondbacks facing leadoff man Everett Cabrera. And we are underway on a Sunday afternoon in downtown Phoenix. There's a strike, says Todd Tishner. 0-1. Start number 21 for Patrick Corbin this year. A 12-1 record. A 2.31 ERA. That is the 4th best in all of baseball. Corbin has won his last 3 starts, striking out 26 in just over 20 innings in the last 3 games. Everett Cabrera 1 for 9 in the series so far. Here's the 1-1. High chopper that Chavez cuts off at third, steps in front of Cliff Pennington at short, and there's the first out. Safelite Auto Glass presents the Diamondbacks defensively. Late change for Kirk Gibson's ball club here, BB. Jason Kubel out and A.J. Pollock in.
Now Pollock will then plug into center field. Adam Eaton moves over to left. Gerardo Parra once again in right field. It'll be Chavez and Pennington on the left side of the infield. Aaron Hill and Paul Goldschmidt on the right side. Miguel Montero, home run in his first at bat in the ball game last night behind the plate for left-hander Patrick Corbin.
And there's A.J. Pollock in center field. Adam Eaton was originally in center with Kubel in left, but when Kubel comes out, A.J. slides over to center and Eaton in left. Chris Denorfia, he's hit in 3 straight games. He homered here last night. And something for Patrick Corbin to watch out for here today. Denorfia, last night his 8th home run of the season, all 8 homers against left-hand pitchers. And career-wise, he has been a problem. This was Denorfia last night. Came in the 4th inning. It was the last pitch thrown in the ball game by Tyler Skaggs, who was sent down to AAA Reno afterward. And Chaz Rowe has rejoined the Diamondbacks. He's back up here in the bullpen.
You know, throughout the first half of the season, we've seen some guys use the thumb guard. Get a real good look at it here on Chris Denorfia as he takes his stance in that right-handed batter's box. It's on that top hand. You see it right there around his thumb. As he gets his grip on the bat, you can see how it kind of lays between his thumb and the handle of that bat to try to cushion the shot.
Nice easy roller to Aaron Hill at second, 2 down.
Well, that is one of the most common injuries, or it's not really an injury, but something you have to deal with as a hitter. It's one of the most common in baseball because guys take a lot of extra batting practice. They get jammed occasionally in the game, get that bone bruise on your thumb right there, the big muscle of your thumb, and somebody came up with a way to pad that area.
An idea man.
Yeah, got to have him.
Chris Denorfia homered in the game last night. Chase Headley homered as well. In fact, they had back-to-back home runs in that San Diego 4th. Chase Headley, the switch hitter, batting right-handed against the lefty Corbin. Driven to center field. A.J. Pollock throws, now backing up as quickly as he can, but it's off the wall, and A.J. is down on the track, and Chase Headley will fly into third, and he will make it with a triple. Chase Headley, his 2nd triple this season. A.J. got a very late jump on that one. It carried all the way past the 407 mark just to the right field side of center.
Yeah, you're right. He did get a little bit of a late jump, which is usually not that big of an issue for A.J. Pollock. With his speed, he's able to make up ground even after initially misjudging the ball. The issue is, do you go all the way to the wall and try to make the catch, or do you back off the wall and play the carom? And that time A.J. kind of caught in between that little bit of a corner there in center field where the 407 mark is. Came came into play that time, as you see Headley sliding into third with the triple.
Well, Headley was really come on lately with a hot bat in the San Diego lineup after a tough first half. So 2 outs. He's on third for Carlos Quentin. First pitch is fouled back. Quentin at 278 on the year. He's got 13 home runs, and his bat has come alive lately as well. Base hit, RBI. Padres take the 1-0 lead. A Henley triple, a Quentin single with 2 outs makes it 1-0 San Diego here in the first. 45th RBI on the year for Carlos Quentin.
A rare mistake with that slider from Patrick Corbin. That one just kind of rolled up there high in the strike zone, stayed over the middle of the plate, and Quentin tomahawks it into left field for an RBI base hit. You rarely see Patrick leave that slider up in the zone. Occasionally he'll spike it in the dirt, but you rarely see him leave it up there belt high over the middle of the plate.
Jesus Guzman. Carlos Quentin, an RBI double in the first last night against the lefty Tyler Skaggs. An RBI single in the first today against the lefty Patrick Corbin. 1-0 to Guzman at 240 on the year with 7 homers. Once again, another difficult first inning for a Diamondback starting pitcher. That's been a recurrent theme this year.
Especially after the first 2 quick outs. Easy ground ball to third, easy ground ball to second.
Jesus Guzman with a home run off Patrick Corbin. There goes Quentin running on the pitch. That one is lined into the seats in left field. Foul. And Black putting his foot on the accelerator here in the first.
Just got a little bit out in front of that one, imparting some side English. That ball hooks foul down the third base line. Odd to see Quentin run. He rarely attempts a stolen base.
Does not have a steal this year. That one is lying down the right hand side and out of play. Cabrera a ground out, Denorfia a ground out. Chase Headley a triple, Quentin singled him home. 1-0 San Diego. And a 1-2 count on Jesus Guzman. So it's at least a 21 pitch first inning here for Patrick Corbin. Quentin takes off again. That one is lifted high in the air to left field. Adam Eaton coming in. And that's the final out. For the Padres get a run. We'll head to the home half. Diamondbacks trail at 1-0. so far. The Diamondbacks led 2-0 after the first inning. They won on Friday night, 10-zip. The Padres last night led 1-0 after the first. They won last night 12-3. So San Diego with a 1-0 lead so far. Here is Kirk Gibson's batting order tonight.
Adam Eaton at the top, Aaron Hill in the 2 spot, Paul Goldschmidt with a big home run last night in the 3 spot. Eric Chavez, Miguel Montero, A.J. Pollock in the middle. Gerardo Parra, Cliff Pennington, and Patrick Corbin make up the bottom of the batting order.
24th appearance this season for Tyson Ross, 6'6", 230, the right-hander. This is just, however, his 5th start. He was called up from AAA Tucson for a start last Tuesday in Milwaukee, but prior to that, all his other starts, Bob, this year for the Padres had come in the first 3 weeks of the season.
Yeah, they like this guy's future. A big, tall guy, 6'6", 230 pounds. For a tall pitcher, he takes a really short stride toward home plate to try to really take advantage. You see a 4-seamer, a slider, a changeup. He'll throw an occasional 2-seam fastball. Real tight rotation on the slider. That's his out pitch.
And he can throw that 95 consistently. Adam Eaton leads it off at 222. So Tyson Ross out here. He's had just 1 start since April 17th, and that was last week. He was a winner when he started last Tuesday at Milwaukee. 6 innings of 2-hit ball. He had 6 strikeouts. Those are the numbers in his win over the Brewers. Only 1 earned on 2 hits and 6. But he's still being stretched out, as it were, so he's likely not going to go deep into this ball game. Logan Forsythe with a nice play at second base. That's the first out. Safelite Auto Glass presents the Padres defense. A little different look. You've got Rene Rivera behind the plate, and Forsythe, as we just saw, at second base.
We're familiar with the outfielders. Quentin in left, Denorfi in center, Guzman over in right, Chase Headley and Everett Cabrera on the left side of the infield, Logan Forsythe and Yonder Alonso on the right side. As my partner mentioned, Rene Rivera doing the catching for Nick Hundley today, and big, tall right-hander Tyson Ross on the mound.
So it's Quentin, Denorfia, Guzman left to right in the Padres outfield. Here's Aaron Hill back after a couple of days off. 280 and 5 home runs. Really a game and a half off after the 2 off days earlier in the week. That's a very slow roll to Forsythe at second. 2 up, 2 down.
Well, the thing the Padres were really pleased with Ross at start against the Brewers. Went 6 strong innings, but only threw 82 pitches. Very efficient. Was pounding the strike zone on the edges and down low.
Well, he's having one of those years where he's in and out of the rotation, in and out of the bullpen, up and down from AAA in the major leagues, much like Patrick Corbin went through for the Diamondbacks last year. Here's Paul Goldschmidt, 306 and 23 home runs. Number 23 coming last night. 2-run shot that was crushed out to left in the 5th inning. This was Goldie last night in the 5th after a walk to Parra. Did miss it. He's down here 0-2.
That was one of Goldie's majestic home runs last night.
That was a no-doubter.
Yeah. Occasionally he'll hit that line drive. You're not sure if it's quite high enough to get over the fence or not, but that one was a skyscraper home run.
And he strikes out. Another bat toss and helmet toss for Goldie. He's looked a little frustrated lately. It's a 1-2-3 first for Tyson Ross. We're through 1. Diamondbacks down 1-0. With 2 outs, it's given San Diego a 1-0 lead against the Diamondbacks and Patrick Corbin as we start the second inning at Chase Field on a Sunday afternoon in Sedona Red. Yonder Alonso, Logan Forsythe, and Rene Rivera, 6, 7, and 8 for the Padres. Hard to first, Goldie. 1 pitch, 1 out. I don't want to make too big a deal of it. Everyone's entitled to let off a little steam every now and then, but I have to say over the last week or so we've seen Goldie, nothing outrageous. Everyone's entitled to toss a bat occasionally or flip a helmet, but it's the first visible sign we've seen of him pressing a bit, I think.
I think you're right, especially this weekend. The first game of this series against soft tossing Eric Stultz really had Goldie talking to himself. And the first strikeout in the ball game tonight, angrily flipped his bat and his helmet over toward that third base dugout. You know, even MVP candidates need a day off from time to time.
He looked like he could use a mental health day. On the ground to third, Eric Chavez. 2 quick outs for Patrick here in the second.
You know, and if the Diamondbacks offense would more consistently look like they did Friday night, it would make it a lot easier for Kirk Gibson to say, hey, we can do without Goldie for a day. Let's put him on the bench. But when the offense is sputtering and misfiring, and then all of a sudden they bust out one night and then go right back to the same bad habits again the next game, it's hard to take Goldie out of the lineup.
Is that a warning sign or a red flag for you as a skipper when you see a guy who's normally so reserved all the time sort of, you know, let loose a little bit like that?
Yeah, maybe not a red flag, but certainly an indication that in his own way, non-verbally, he's saying that, you know, I'm having a little frustration right now. This is something I'm not used to, and I don't like it.
0-1 to Rene Rivera, the catcher. First time we've seen Rivera in this series.
See, for those of us who used to snap after every bat at bat, we couldn't, you know, the manager couldn't tell whether you were upset or not. I was upset all the time. But for Goldie, he is so reserved, so focused, so intense. To see him let it out where everybody can see it is a little shocking.
He's certainly entitled. That's not the issue. 2-1. Base hit. More on Paul Goldschmidt. Jody Jackson is downstairs. Jody.
Well, guys, there have been conversations about Paul Goldschmidt possibly getting a day off today. But in fact, Kirk Gibson saying that it's a possibility he could DH on this road trip going to Tampa and then 1 game in Texas and then against the Boston Red Sox. And that's something just to give him a little bit of a break. And, you know, like you guys said, maybe a mental break and just focus on the hitting, but maybe also a true day off. So the feeling is that he will get some time off, whether it's in the field or an entire day.
And there is the off day tomorrow in Tampa, and Tyson Ross goes the other way. Parra with a play at first, but they don't get him. Gerardo Parra loves to do that, but Tyson Ross by no means was Cadillacing up the line. He was running all the way. Parra still made it close there.
I'm sure that's part of opposing teams' scouting report. When you played the Diamondbacks, run everything out hard, hit to right field, and Tyson Ross did that time. He was busting it down that line.
Well, Bob, Patrick Corbin in the first got 2 very quick outs, then gave up the triple to Headley and the single by Quentin to make it 1-0. And here in the second inning, he got the first 2 outs on 3 pitches, but then singles by the 8 and 9 hole hitters here.
That's a curse of a strike thrower. I mean, by now, teams are well aware that Patrick Corbin is going to pound that strike zone, especially with that first pitch, and seems to make a lot of sense, your plan of attack, to be aggressive. Sometimes you hit him at the defender, sometimes you find holes.
And he wants Miguel Montero to pay a visit here. And they talk about how to work to Everett Cabrera, who grounded out his first time up.
Yeah, the quick 2 outs, not only an issue tonight, but the last couple of games, 10 of the 13 runs that the Padres have scored have come with 2 outs in the inning.
There's the strike, 0-1. Cabrera now 1 for 10 in the series. He was having a sensational June, hitting .459 through his first 15 games last month, but then suffered a left hamstring strain, had to sit out 17 games. And the Padres, they missed him. They went 5-12 in the 17 games while he was out. That one is ripped to the pool in right center. But Gerardo Parra is there for the final out, and Patrick Corbin strands 2. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Miguel Montero back in the lineup last night, and he found the power stroke. He's coming up.
In the second. Earlier today, there was a lot of focus and anticipation for Steve Sax to come out of the dugout because this is what was on the field during stretch. This is a glove put in a Ziploc bag and frozen overnight, and he gets a look at it, realizing, wait a minute, this is my glove. Matt Williams standing by, a lot of the players taking a look. He breaks the ice there. He told me it weighs about 17 pounds. I think that's a little bit of hyperbole. He told Cindy Brunson earlier 12 pounds. But the guys had fun with it, and apparently he left his glove out here in the dugout yesterday. And I think, if I had to guess, maybe Matt Williams was responsible for that. But by the way, that is our Chaz Roberts cool play of the game, literally with the frozen glove. He said it's still frozen. It probably will be for a little while, guys. I don't know. I've never seen that happen. I've never seen that particular joke, but apparently guys like to freeze things when you leave them around and you don't protect your belongings.
That is a big bowl of wrong right there. And Saxey, as the rookie on the staff, BB, I've noticed, takes a tremendous amount of abuse.
Well, I think, and he enjoys it too, you know, all part of the fun of being around a group of guys every day for 6 months. You got to have a little fun with it from time to time, and Saxey takes it all good-naturedly.
Eric Chavez leads off the second against Tyson Ross. Diamondbacks have been out hit so far 4-0. They trail it 1-0. Chase Headley a triple. Carlos Quentin a single in the first against Patrick Corbin. And here is Eric Chavez, a 3-0-1, 7 home runs. And they've got that Goldie Chavez 3-4 combo back in the lineup and working against the right-hander Ross. Now, is that the deal if you, say, leave a fungo bat or a glove in the dugout when you shouldn't? It's your fair game?
Apparently it was yesterday, yeah. I mean, it's just, like I said, it's all part of trying to loosen the atmosphere as Chavez lines one into center field for a base hit. And just keep things loose, keep everybody on the same page, having a few laughs before you go to work and get into that zone of intense concentration, preparing for a ball game. Have a little fun earlier in the afternoon. I think back to my playing days with the San Francisco Giants, and Mike Krukow, who now announces games for the Giants, was on the team, and we had a head athletic trainer that was really good at pranks. He'd get guys all the time, and he got Mike Krukow one time, so Krukow took out an ad in the San Francisco Chronicle. Now, I'm not sure about their circulation, but it's a pretty good chunk. And the ad said, wanted used golf and tennis balls. We'll pay $1 each, and put the trainer's phone number on the ad. He had to change his phone number, obviously. He got thousands of calls that day. I've got a garage full of old golf balls, $1 a piece. Are you kidding me?
Worth every penny.
Oh, man, I'm telling you. Rick Sutcliffe did the same thing to Mark Grace one time when they were playing with the Cubs. Took out a billboard. Looking for Cubs tickets? Call this number, and put Gracie's home phone number up there on the billboard. You can imagine how many calls he got.
Speaking of calls, Miguel Montero not happy with Todd Tischner's strike zone behind the plate.
And there was a time maybe a month ago that Miggy probably wasn't really sure whether it was a strike or not, but he's been locked in lately. 9 for his last 18 with 3 homers, which tells me he's seeing the ball well. He knows where the zone is, knows what he can handle, what he can't handle. And when you feel like you're locked in a little bit at the plate and you know where that strike zone is, when an umpire calls a bad one on you, it stings a little worse.
Well, he's certainly come a long way since May 19th when he was hitting 180 for the season. He's up 50 points above that. Popped him up behind the second base bag. Everett Cabrera's there in very shallow center. That's the first out.
Center fielder A.J. Pollock.
Mentioned Jason Kubel was in the original starting lineup for Kirk Gibson, but Jason was a late scratch with some back tightness. So Adam Eaton slides over to left field, and into center goes A.J. Pollock. And there's Jason getting the day off here. Last minute change just before the ball game. And A.J. in center field, and at .253, 6 home runs. Guy throws hard, 95, 96 consistently. .95 again, 1-1. Tyson Ross, born in Berkeley, California, went to Bishop O'Dowd High School in Oakland and played at Cal. He was a second-round pick of his hometown A's in the '08 draft. Traded to the Padres last November for Andy Perino and Andrew Werner. Lifted to right, Jesus Guzman started in, now backs up. Chavez back to first, 2 down.
Let's take a look at Tyson Ross's delivery out there. I mentioned he's 6'6", but he takes a very short stride with that left leg. Tries to stay tall on the rubber and really take advantage of his height, getting that ball going down the hill. Had the opportunity to see this young man pitch for the Cal Bears when my son was going to school at the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. They played a series in Berkeley, and I can tell you he threw in the mid to upper 90s then.
Well, they had mentioned this spring that their pitching coach, Darren Balsley, was working with Ross on a higher leg kick, which they thought would help him become a more consistent strike thrower. Pretty simple motion. Gerardo Parra, 272 and 7 homers. And Gerardo Parra is struggling right now through a 4 for 50 stretch. He's had 1 extra base hit in the last 3 weeks.
It all starts with one line drive. Get a good pitch, drive it somewhere. Remember that feeling. Remember the rhythm and timing that it takes to get that bat on the ball. And get a good pitch to hit. Talk about it all the time. That's usually where it starts. When you go into a little bit of a slump, you're usually chasing pitchers' pitches. When you get locked in at the plate, you make sure you get a good pitch that you want to hit.
High chop on a second. Forsythe, little side flip to Cabrera, and that's the inning. We're through 2. Diamondbacks trail at 1-0. Backs 1-0, and here with us, it's our Fox Sports Arizona Sanderson Ford Kidcaster Sunday. Jordan Palacio is with us. Congratulations on the big win. You're up here doing it.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be up here right now.
Well, we're glad to have you, Jordan. Now, I understand this is the game plan for you from here on out. I was talking to your mom, and she says, she said play-by-play. He's already decided.
Yeah, that's what I would like to do. That's what I would like to take my future.
All right. He's committed, BB.
I like it.
Or he ought to be, one or the other. Now, big D-backs fan?
Oh, big D-backs fan.
I saw you and your brother were here in the wearing the Sedona red with the hats and the shirts and the gloves and the whole thing.
The whole kit caboodle.
Look at that. He's bringing some of his game already here. Patrick Corbin strikes out Chris DeNorfia, one away. All right, Jordan, you're up here, buddy. So it's Chase Headley and Patrick Corbin. One out in the third. Take it away.
All right, here we go. Patrick Corbin got one down, as Steve just stated. And here comes Chase Headley up to the plate.
Headley got the Padres offense going back in that first inning with 2 outs. Tripled off the wall in center field. Came around to score on a Carlos Quentin base hit.
As he takes strike one, and as you said, Bob, we got a triple in the first. And here comes the 0-1. Just a bit inside, evens up the count at 1-1.
Who's your favorite Diamondback?
Didi Gregorius.
Oh, it's a good choice.
Swing and a miss, strike 2. Corbin's got him.
What do you like about Didi's game?
His defense is outstanding. Bit of a flashy player as well.
He brings a little sexy to the lineup. It's all right.
He does. Nothing wrong with that. The 1-2 to Headley. There he goes, strike 3. Patrick Corbin sends him down on 4 pitches.
Now this is the bio here, Jordan. Let's break this down. Your other team is the Sun Devils, huh?
ASU.
All right.
Go Devils.
Now, how is he allowed to watch The Walking Dead, Mom? What's going on there? Dad, it's Dad's favorite show. All right.
Nobody else watches The Walking Dead in the family. It's just me and my dad.
Oh, well, it's good to bond. If you can bond over zombies, then you're in.
Yeah, I mean, that's all you need.
Pizza and The Walking Dead.
Beautiful.
All right, bud, here's Carlos Quentin.
Ground ball, foul. And he knocked in Headley in the first inning.
Anybody you want to say hi to back at school? I asked you if you had a girlfriend earlier, and you said you had too many to count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, exactly.
That number's only going to go up after this gig.
You better believe it. Oh, nice play there by Corbin to grab the ball. Easy throw over to first, and there go the Padres.
All right, well, Jordan, I feel a little bad because that was a quick inning. So can you hang around and do the home half?
I'd be happy to.
Let's get this career started. We'll be back with Jordan Palacio coming up after this.
The post-game concert featuring Roger Klein and the Peacemakers on Sunday, September 1st. The concert is free with the ticket for that day's D-backs versus Giants game at 1:10 p.m. Get tickets by calling 602-462-4600 or log on to dbacks.com/concert.
Reading the promos, BB. Next level. Next level. If they get a kidcaster in here every day just to do the promos. All right, buddy. Cliff Pennington.
Down low, ball one.
Now he's in there for your guy Didi today.
He is. Ooh, Ross painting the corners there.
You always love to get that number 8 hitter on base. Gives you the option of using Patrick Corbin to put down a sac bunt. And when Patrick is swinging the bat a little bit, you can maybe even play some hit and run.
Definitely, definitely.
I always saw Patrick used as a pinch hitter in a game this week.
I saw that game. Fouls it off.
And we talk a lot about the number 8 hitter in a lineup and how it can be one of the toughest spots to hit in because you do have the pitcher hitting behind you. Sometimes you'll come to the plate with runners in scoring position. You have to expand your zone a little bit to try to drive those guys in. But leading off an inning, Cliff Pennington just trying to find a way to get on.
Exactly. Oh, that could do it. There it is, down the line. That's going to be extra bases for Cliff Pennington. Rounds first, he's going for 3. The throw is going to be in there, standing up. Cliff Pennington, a stand-up triple to get things going here in the bottom of the 3rd. And first of the year.
Gets a little fist bump from Matt Williams over there at third base. Boy, really hooked that ball right down the first base line, coming right at you there. Jesus Guzman had some issues out there in the right field corner by the time he got over there. Cliff Pennington is rounding second base and easily cruises into third with a stand-up triple.
Now you just hope Corbin shoots one through the infield here, or do you try and get a little fancy?
I think this early in the ball game, just try to put the ball in play. You've got the infield drawn in, a hard grounder that's not hit right at one of the Padres defenders.
Oh, look at this. Will this score? There goes Pennington. No, a little fake. A little deke from Pennington over at third base.
Boy, Matt Williams put a big stops on there as soon as Cliff Pennington took off. It looks like Quentin Bob did a good job of getting that back in quickly.
Yeah, being a right-handed thrower, moving to his right to make the catch a little bit toward home plate. He had just too much momentum going toward his target to take a chance with the top of the order coming up after Patrick Corbin. And, of course, there's no way to know that that throw was going to short hop Rivera behind the plate and get away briefly. You have to assume he's going to make a good throw, and had Pennington tried to score there, they probably get him at the dish.
All right, Jordan, here's the top of the order, Adam Eaton.
Here we go. 0 for 1 today, little ground out to first. Let's see if he can knock in the run. The first. Ooh, down low there. Adam Eaton.
Did you like the mustache?
I did. I was a fan of this dash, and then we turned on the game one day, and it was all of a sudden gone.
It was a good run.
Eaton, you might see attempt to bunt for a base hit. I don't think they would put a straight squeeze on this early in the game, but Adam Eaton, the bunt is a big part of his offensive arsenal.
Eaton up in the count, 2-0. And Ross delivers. Ooh.
Rivera looks like he got pretty quick hands back there.
Yeah, he saved his pitcher a run right there. That ball in the dirt. Talk about that fastball in the dirt all the time. You never anticipate a big league pitcher spiking a fastball like that in the dirt. A breaking ball, a changeup, a split finger. Yeah, those pitches end up in the dirt quite often, but not a big league pitcher's fastball.
You think he had the green light to go there?
Well, Kirk Gibson usually gives all of his hitters the green light, 3-0, but you know, Adam Eaton being a leadoff hitter, he's just trying to find a way to get on. When did you save your mustache, Jordan? I know you had one earlier this year.
You had to clean it up for the occasion, you know.
Nice.
Good answer.
The 3-1. Foul down the left field line.
Well, Patrick Corbin has retired the last 4 he's faced. Diamondbacks trying to even things up here. 3-2 now to Adam Eaton with the infield in on the edge of the grass.
Shallow fly ball, and it's they're calling it foul.
Dale Scott at third, right in front.
Very close play there.
A little broken bat floater, appeared to be a broken bat right down that third base line, and just does land on the wrong side of the line for D-backs.
It sounded like he had broken his bat actually on a previous pitch where he was kind of pounding it down there and trying to see if there was a piece broken off or shattered or cracked.
Well, he's got a new one now.
Well, let's try this again on 3-2. Ground ball, second base. Faked home to home and gets the out at first.
Well, it's up to Aaron Hill now. Jordan just not getting these guys home lately when they're on base and scoring position.
Now, hopefully, we can start to pick that up.
Are you looking at journalism schools, broadcasting schools? You're
yeah.
a big Sun Devils fan, and check out the Cronkite School.
That's what my mom and I were talking about.
Yeah, they got a terrific program.
Do you practice at home? You practice somewhere because it sounds like you've done this many times before.
When I was younger, yeah, a lot.
Back in the day when he was a kid. Yeah.
Way back when.
I think everybody does that at some point in their life, watching a game on TV and turn the sound down and be the guy.
Yeah. That was me.
Back in your youth.
Yeah, way back. 2010 almost.
Oh. They didn't have HD then, did they?
Did they have this channel even?
3 consecutive sliders to start this sequence to Aaron Hill, running a count to 2-1. We know Aaron Hill is a dead fastball hitter. That one right down there at the bottom of the zone, according to Todd Tishner behind home plate.
Oh, look at Rivera pull that thing up about 1.5 feet. Struck him out, and that's it. Well, Jordan, your career is off to a tremendous start. Thanks, man. It was great to have you here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Nice work.
Nice job, Jordan.
Jordan Palacio, everybody. You can reach him at his service, right?
Call his people.
Backs there. Cliff Pennington a leadoff triple in the bottom of the third, but it goes for naught. And now Patrick Corbin is back out there, having retired the last 4 he's faced. After giving up 2 base hits in each of the first 2 innings, has settled down lately. He'll work to Guzman, Alonso, and Forsythe, 5, 6, and 7 here in the San Diego fourth. Oh, Jordan Palacios just left his limo. A guy was getting very impatient. Jordan did a great job.
Boy, he sure did.
Mom's here asking about journalism schools.
Very poised young man.
Yeah. Guzman flying out to left his first time. That one is hard down the line and right, out of play. Well, BB, it's hard to, tell a pitcher, go out there and, we're going to try and get you something here, but you get the leadoff triple as Pennington shoots one down the right field line, and it ends up standing at third, down 1-0.
Well, the good news is it hasn't seemed to bother Patrick Corbin all season long. He's been working with the narrowest of margins all season. Even in the games that he wins, he doesn't have a lot of breathing room.
Driven to right, Gerardo Parra. 5 in a row set down by Patrick, 1 down in the fourth. Here's Yonder Alonso, grounded out to first his first time up. Alonso had a big night last night, 3 hits and 4 RBIs. His was the hit that really broke it open. The bases loaded double in the third against Tyler Skaggs. And he loves to hit in this ballpark. Boy, Yonder Alonso, great numbers here. That one is fisted the other way, and it drops in front of Adam Eaton for a base hit. Yonder Alonso, a lifetime 400 hitter in this ballpark, and he's aboard with 1 out in the fourth. That's the 5th hit for the Padres.
Second baseman.
Well, they all count, but this is just a jam shot on a fastball up, hit it down near the trademark, and gets it enough of it to squeeze it over the infield in front of Adam Eaton out there and left for a base hit.
So a 1 out base runner for Logan Forsythe, the second baseman today. He grounded out his first time. Forsythe grounded out in his only previous at bat in the series. That was in Friday's game. Came in as a late defensive replacement. Forsythe, the guy who's been struggling with the stick lately, just 1 hit in his last 18 at bats. Played a lot earlier in the year, but Headley was out, filled in there a little bit. Jerko was out, played there some, but both those guys are healthy, so Forsythe is scrambling for some at bats lately. Padres hit lefties well this year, and for extra bases. Kicks away from Miguel Montero, and Yonder Alonso moves up 90 feet. And Bob, this is something we're starting to see a lot of lately with Miggy.
Just off the glove.
That's a pass ball.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the issue is. Miggy's really clanked some pitches that have made it up there in the air lately. Some balls that have hit in the dirt. He hasn't been in a good blocking position. And, it's not uncommon for a guy who's struggling offensively to maybe take it back behind the plate with him. But he's been swinging the bat well lately. Now, there was a pitch in the ball game last night. David Hernandez was in the ball game and threw a slider that was a cross-up. Miggy was not expecting a slider. He was expecting fastball, so certainly that can be excused. But there have been a number of balls that, in my own humble opinion, he should have been able to make plays on that got through.
You see the numbers there from the last couple of games. So Alonso on second, 2-1 now, and that one is smothered by Chavez at third. And he throws out Forsythe. Alonso moves up to third. Eric Chavez, 6 Gold Gloves.
Oh, it's like he's got a leather magnet in that glove. Every time he gets close to a ball, he just sucks it up, quickly gets to his feet because Forsythe runs very well. Eric knew he didn't have a lot of time to play with, so quickly got to his feet and fired across for the out. Nicely done.
So with 2 outs now, Alonso's at third. Here's the catcher, Rene Rivera. Single his first time up. Oof. Rivera 4 hits in 14 at bats so far this year. He's appeared in only 6 games for the Padres. He was called up when Yasmani Grandal suffered a severe knee injury against the Nationals earlier this month. Could be out for up to a year or longer, so Rivera is here backing up Nick Hundley. That'll work. 1-2. There's Nick Hundley. Rivera had spent much of this year in the minor leagues, 74 games for AAA Tucson, hit .343 there.
Took just enough off that slider and had enough downward movement to get Rivera to swing right over the top out in front.
.55 pitches now for Patrick Corbin, 40 for strikes. Padres have out hit the Diamondbacks 5-2. They lead it 1-0. A Chase Headley triple, a Carlos Quentin single in the first. In the dirt, Rivera swings and misses, and they throw him out to complete the strikeout, and they strand Alonso at third. Home half of the fourth coming up. Diamondbacks down 1-0. By Gila River, another proud partner of the Arizona Diamondbacks. Home half of the fourth, Diamondbacks. They've been out hit 5-2. They trail at 1-0 here. Paul Goldschmidt, Eric Chavez, and Miguel Montero, 3, 4, and 5. And the Arizona fourth against Tyson Ross, the right-hander who's been throwing hard and so far has given up only 2 hits. A Chavez single in the second and a Pennington triple in the third. Both the hits led off the last 2 innings, so we'll see how Goldie does here to lead off the fourth. Showed you the numbers on Goldie earlier. Only 2 hits in his last 17 at bats. Both hits home runs. Homered here last night. Struck out his first time up there today. Don't forget Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead day. You can see it on the billboard behind home plate coming up August 10th against the Mets. It is a must-have item. The Goldie bobblehead. Brought to you by Audi. Get the Goldie 4-pack of tickets at dbacks.com. Can't go through this whole year and not get the Goldie bobblehead. That would be an epic fail. 2-1. 95 for a strike. It's even now 2-2.
Well, not only 95, but right on that outside corner, just above the knees. Nearly an unhittable strike.
Roll to shortstop, Everett Cabrera. One away. Hey, fans, on Saturday, August 10th, before that D-back Met game, 20,000 fans will get the Paul Goldschmidt bobblehead, courtesy of Audi. And if you live near Tucson, Yuma, Flagstaff, or Tempe, and you can join the D-backs at the Goldie Rush Watch Parties happening all over Arizona this week. If you go, you'll have a shot at winning a Gold Edition bobblehead at the watch party. The first Goldie Rush Watch Party is Tuesday. That's at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Yuma. So get on down there Tuesday in Yuma, Buffalo Wild Wings, and it's the Goldie Rush Watch Party. Visit dbacks.com / Goldie Rush for a full list of locations. So we'll give you a chance, if you live far away from the ballpark, to get a hold of a Goldie bobblehead. It's a big item. Parties. The bobbleheads are essentially going to do a tour of the state before they're handed out at the game August 10th. So get on board. Goldie bobblehead coming near you. Chavez strikes out, quickly 2 down in the 4th.
Well, I mentioned at the top of the show, Tyson Ross has a real tight spin on his slider. Very tough to pick it up out of his hand. And that time, Eric Chavez chased a couple of them in the dirt, down and in. Probably appeared to him to be a fastball on the inside part of the plate, but took that late break, put it in the dirt down near his feet.
3 strikeouts now for Tyson Ross. Miguel Montero popped up his first time. Tyson Ross just called up from AAA Tucson before his previous start, which was last Tuesday in Milwaukee. Pitched very well. 6 innings of 2 hit balls, 6 strikeouts, and he's got a 1-0 lead here in the 4th.
Yeah, talking about the Goldie bobbleheads making a tour. You taking the bobbleheads on to Tampa?
I've kind of gone back and forth with it. We had the Wade Miley Garden Gnome. And when we took the Wade Miley Garden Gnome, that was the first big giveaway this year. We took it on the road with us. The Wade Miley Gnome went to a whole number of cities, but the problem was we weren't winning. And if you recall, we actually thought about leaving the Wade Miley Gnome at Alcatraz. I mean, I took the Wade Miley Gnome into the pool with me when we did the pool show. It kind of traveled everywhere, along with the actual Wade Miley. And the luck was, kind of iffy. So I'm not sure now what to do with Goldie. The Goldie twins, the Gold Dust twins.
You have both of them. Maybe one gets to make the trip and the other stays home to hold down the fort.
It's a tough call, baby.
Yeah, it is.
Well, the other problem is they might break.
That's true.
You don't want that. Miggy looks at strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts from Tyson Ross to end the 4th. He's now struck out 4. He leads it 1-0.
Danielle is the next Fox Sports Arizona girl. Log on to girls.foxsportsarizona.com to upload your photos and submit your video for a chance to be the next Fox Sports Arizona girl. Registration ends this Friday, so don't delay.
Well, according to the sign, the search is over. She's nominated herself, and she's in.
Tyson Ross will lead it off for the Padres here. Got a base hit in his first at bat in the game back in the second. He got a base hit in Dodger Stadium 2 starts ago to right center field. Actually banged the ball off the wall at Dodger Stadium and made it as far as first base, and then slumped over, grabbing at his left shoulder. He had a subluxated left shoulder. They had to put it back in joint.
Oh,
thank goodness for him and the Padres it wasn't his right arm, but since then they've encouraged him to cut down on his swing a little bit. He was very much a free swinger, adhering to that theory, swing hard in case you hit it, but they've gotten him to cut down on his swing a little bit, just try to make contact and put the ball in play.
Makes contact there, lines it right to Cliff Pennington, 1 down in the 5th. Shoulder subluxation doesn't sound fun.
No.
What was the most painful injury you ever had? Back there.
Boy, I mean, a lot of them were cumulative, surgery at the end of the season or what have you. But for one brief flash of white hot pain, nothing beats a foul tip off the point of your big toe. Oh my goodness. Oh, that just hurts forever. I mean, just thinking about it right now, my toes are aching. There are many other sensitive areas of the body where you can get hit with a foul tip, and I've said for years that I would rather get hit in some of those other sensitive areas than in the toe, and I've had arguments with people about it, but boy, for me that was the worst, by far the worst.
Well, the big toe is the captain of the toes.
That's right.
0-2.
Yeah, talking about practical jokes, when I was playing with the Toronto Blue Jays. Well, when I was on the Toronto Blue Jays roster.
You were a member of the ball club.
In 1989, catching a pitcher in the bullpen one day and, kind of watching the action on the field, and then catch a couple of warm-up pitches, watch the action, catch a couple of warm-up pitches as Cabrera will go down on strikes. And I happened to look away as the pitcher indicated he was going to throw a sinker. I was just thinking he was going to throw a breaking pitch, so I didn't catch it. Didn't even get leather on a pitch, and it hit me right in the big toe. Ooh. There you see Miggy digging one out of the dirt there, throws on to first to complete the strikeout. But the real cherry on the sundae of this story is if you've ever suffered that kind of trauma to a toe, you eventually lose the nail. It comes off.
Is this going to be gross?
Yeah, kind of gross.
All right, go ahead.
And initially after the injury, you've got all kinds of swelling in there, so they drill a hole in your toenail to allow that pressure to escape. And then as you go on, a week or two later, the toenail drops off, but it's got a perfect hole right in the middle of it. So I went and bought a cheap chain and put that toenail on a chain and gave it to the pitcher who hit me in the toe.
A treasured memento, I'm sure.
I think he probably still wears it to this day.
Kristen Orfeo for 2. See, I'm checking the 1989 Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, good team.
You played 13 games at catcher. Started 7. There's Cliff Pennington. And it's a 1-2-3-5 for Patrick Corbin. More with the captain of the toes coming up.
here currently with this ball club, as well as a lot of our prospects that we have down in AA and AAA. And I think going into this, it'd be very difficult for us to move some of our upper-level prospects. I think in the long run, they're going to pay dividends. But the right deal could be made that we think separates us from the rest of the pack. We have to look at it.
And there you have it, our Geico quote of the game. Cindy Brunson's conversation during our pregame show with General Manager Kevin Towers as that trade deadline looms. And you get the sense that one thing KT's made no bones about is that they are looking for a second left-handed reliever in the pen. And, you know, that there could be a move, but they're very confident in the 25 guys on this roster, guys.
Well, and with good reason, I think, Jody. Bob, it's no short of talent, certainly. It may be a question of fit or need. I'm not sure need is the word exactly, but it's nice to have two lefties back there if you can. I know it worked well with Matt Reynolds and Tony Sipp earlier this year.
And the reality for, I think, any general manager in baseball, if you can improve your ball club at any juncture, at any point in the season, you're always looking to upgrade. But not only are you looking for talented ball players, maybe a little better than the guys you have, but how does it fit in the grand scheme of things? What kind of guy is he in the clubhouse? What else does he bring to the team other than his physical skills on the field? A lot of tough decisions. Not just as easy as swapping baseball cards.
Hey.
Trades are always easier on talk radio.
They sure are. We're on the back porch.
Yeah, this is Dave from Yuma. I got a trade for you. All right, go ahead, Dave. Well, I'll trade him this guy, that guy, and the other thing for this. We'll trade all our bad players for that other team's really good player.
We'll get,
It's usually the way it goes.
Trade him a couple of minor league pitchers for Yadier Molina and Alan Craig.
And future considerations. Yeah. Leadoff walk. This is the third inning of the ball game. The Diamondbacks have had the leadoff hitter on base. Arnold Parr steps up. Good time to remind you that every time a Diamondbacks player hits a home run this season, Fulton Homes donates $150 to the Central Arizona Mountain Rescue Association. Arnold Parr 0 for 1. A.J. Pollock at first to lead off the fifth. A.J. has 6 stolen bases this year. He's been caught 3 times. High chopper to second base. Forsythe has no play at second. They'll get Parr at first, and A.J. moves up 90 feet. So Forsythe make that little turn towards second base, realizing he was not going to get A.J. Pollock, and so settled for the out at first. And here's Cliff Pennington, who tripled his first time up. Pennington tripled the lead off the third and was stranded there. Down a run, and he has really come on lately, hitting almost 300 in July now. In fact, Cliff's batting average for the season has gone up in 30-point increments every month this year. Bob, I think we're seeing more and more that the way Cliff plays defensively is outstanding, and the bat has really come around nicely. So it's more of a split with him and Didi at shortstop.
Well, Didi has struggled against left-handed pitching, especially those guys with real good breaking pitches. So it's nice to have Cliff Pennington available to go up there and take those at bats against the tough lefties from the right side, and he's been swinging it pretty good.
When you talk about trades, Pennington acquired by the D-backs along with infield prospect Yordy Cabrera for Chris Young. Cabrera was flipped to the Marlins in the Heath Bell deal. So if you stop and look at that trade right now, Heath has done a lot of the closing work in the bullpen this year. Pennington has been terrific filling holes in the infield. He's won some games with big clutch hits late. He strikes out there. And in the meantime, Chris Young is sitting under 200 in Oakland and costing the A's about $8 million in salary.
Boy, that Tyson Ross slider must be nearly invisible to left-handed hitters. We saw Eric Chavez struggle, chased a few of them in the dirt. Miguel Montero did the same. And now Cliff Pennington chasing a slider that starts on the inner third of the plate, ends up in the dirt over behind the left-handed batter's box. I mentioned very tight rotation, and that makes it tough for a hitter to pick up.
Patrick Corbin.
You'll see the rotation on this slider. It's actually more of a spiral. If you can picture a football, a quarterback throwing a football and throwing a perfect spiral, that's the rotation on a true slider.
Is that what makes it go laterally as opposed to sort of up and down like a curveball might?
Yeah, I mean, it's depending on finger pressure and how hard a guy pulls down on it, but a fastball will have pure backspin like this. A legitimate curveball will have spin exactly the opposite over the top, but a slider is kind of in between. It's got that spiral rotation which causes it to move laterally, and at times it moves down as well. Now, some guys will throw a little flat slider that's really more just like a sidearm curveball, sweeps across the strike zone, but Tyson Ross has a legitimate slider. There it is again. Boy, and obviously as a hitter, the sooner you can identify the rotation on the baseball, the better your chances of identifying the pitch, where it's going to end up when it gets into the hitting zone, and hopefully putting it in play somewhere. But when a guy has such tight rotation on his pitches, it's tough to discern one from another. There's another slider.
He's got 6 strikeouts now. He's given up only 3 base runners through 5, and after 5 innings, it's 1-0 San Diego. Backs Baseball is brought to you in part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Fulton Homes, you're proud to own, we're proud to build. Just floating down the river. Only 2 hits so far for the Diamondbacks. They trail it 1-0 as we start the 6th. The Racing Gracies earlier, and hold on, Glenn Hoffman has jumped. He's pulled a Rosie Ruiz, and he's shorting the loop there. Gibbs going out to take his position at third. Figured he'd have a little fun, I guess.
Gracie narrowly got edged that time. I need to correct myself, and we got a call from Mark Grace. Thanks for tuning in, Gracie, and correcting my story about the tickets. I thought it was Sutcliffe that punked Grace, but actually it was the other way around. It was the '90 All-Star game that was held at Wrigley Field that year, and Gracie was, I believe, the ringleader. Others were probably involved, but they put up a billboard with a picture of Rick Sutcliffe telling fans, welcome to Wrigleyville. If you need tickets for the All-Star game, call Rick Sutcliffe, and put his phone number up there.
I've worked with Sut for a number of years. I never heard that story. Never did mention that. He told me one time about the time he duct taped Cal Ripken Jr. to a training table, but the tickets never came up. Here's Chase Headley, who tripled in the first, scored the game's only run so far. And it's a quick strikeout for Patrick Corbin, his 5th today, and 1 out in the 6th.
One of the crueler pranks I ever saw pulled into major leagues happened back in Cincinnati at Old Riverfront Stadium. We had a trainer that used to travel with the ball club, and the Powerball, or whatever it was called at that particular time, I think was $3 or $4 million, which pretty good glue back in the day, pretty good glue today. But one of the players called up to the receptionist at Riverfront Stadium and said, at some point during the course of the ball game, you're going to get a call from our clubhouse and somebody's going to ask you for the lotto numbers. Give him these numbers.
It's a big setup.
So they set him up big time, and about the 6th inning of a ball game, the guy came running up the steps at Old Riverfront, up and down the third base dugout. I won the lottery! I won the lottery! Pumping his arms in the air, yelling and screaming. And unfortunately, he found out that it was all a big hoax, and man, did we feel bad about that one. Seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yeah, somebody had to have the talk then.
Yeah, hey, listen, we're sorry.
Just kidding.
But that's when the turnaround comes. Okay, I see how this works. So everybody slept with one eye open for the rest of the year.
You know what they say about payback? She's not very nice.
No, she isn't.
Carlos Quentin, an RBI single in the first. Carlos Quentin has now hit in 8 of his last 10 games. He missed a week in June with a sore left shoulder, but since he's been back, he's hit over 300 with 6 homers. Lines that one to center field. A.J. Pollock's underneath. 2 down. With Vans Pepsi and the Diamondbacks offering you a chance to catch a game from the RamTrucks.com pool. Just look for specially marked packages of Pepsi 12-ounce cans for your chance to find the limited edition D-backs can. Pepsi, live for now. Very excited about the pool. Not a whole lot of run support there.
It's amazing. The Diamondbacks are still 8-2 in those ball games. Patrick Corbin 4-1
with Pennington. Patrick Corbin is now retired. The last 8 he's faced will go to the bottom of the 6th. It's still 1-0. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. The top of the order coming up. Pool area, we're at Chase Field, Diamondbacks and Padres, and always fun times at the Ram Trucks pool. Great place to watch a game, so grab your Goldie jersey and come on out and hang out by the pool. New center fielder for the San Diego Padres is Will Venable. Kirsten Orphea moves over to right, replacing Jesus Guzman. Adam Eaton leads off the Diamondbacks 6th against Tyson Ross, who has retired 9 of the last 10 he's faced. Over-under on further outfield changes for Bud Black right now is 2.5.
Well, usually he gets Quentin out of there late in a close game with the lead as well, so it wouldn't surprise me to see perhaps Amarista come into the ball game at some point moving forward. Probably wants to save him and use him as a pinch hitter if necessary.
Oh, Bob, we mentioned it at the top of the show. All the offense. Diamondbacks 10 runs, 17 hits on Friday. Padres 12 runs yesterday, and so far it's 1-0.
Well, optimistically, I will say that anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Rolled up the middle, pounced on by Everett Cabrera. He throws Eaton out, 1 away in the 6th. Adam Eaton 0 for 3. Here's Aaron Hill.
Second baseman, Aaron Hill.
Aaron Hill grounded out in the 1st, struck out in the 3rd, 0 for 2. First pitch is popped straight up in the air. Rene Rivera. 2 down. A&T Twitter poll question. Road trip coming up. We're in Tampa, Texas, and Boston. Who should start the majority of games at DH on the trip? Either Kubel, Ross, or Chavez. You can tweet your vote to @Fox Sports Arizona. Maybe Goldie gets 1 start at DH, or there is an off day tomorrow in Tampa.
Well, personally, I like to see Eric Chavez down there at 3rd base, depending on the opposing pitcher. Obviously, it would appear that Cody Ross and Jason Kubel would make a nice platoon in that DH spot.
Goldie 0 for 2. Ross still throwing hard, 96. 23 homers, 85 RBIs. The 85 RBIs leads the National League. Goldie is 3rd in the league in walks and 6th in hits. Driven to right. Denorfia at the wall, and he will track that one down. Allowed out number 3 here in the 6th. We're through 6. It's still a 1-0 ball game. Today in the series finale are our APS Energy All-Stars. Tyson Ross for the Padres has retired 12 of the last 13 he's faced, and Patrick Corbin has set down 8 in a row as he opens up the 7th inning in a 1-0 ball game.
Boy, who would have expected? Well, I guess with Patrick Corbin on the mound, you always expect a pitcher's duel, but after the offense we saw in the first 2 games of this series, once by the D-backs, once by the Padres, weren't quite sure how this game was going to go, but both pitchers have really been on top today.
Yonder Alonso Leads off the 7th for San Diego. He singled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. It's Pam's birthday. She's 40. Now, this is how you do it, BB. You get the pool for somebody's birthday, and you have a big Diamondback cake out there, and you make a day of it. That's a great call by somebody down there, one of Pam's friends. She's right on top of it. That's the strikeout for Corbin to open the 7th, his 6th today. Now, which one is Pam? Now, this is where you have to be careful because you have to go down there and ask for the 40-ish looking woman. Now, that can occasionally get you in trouble.
Yes, indeed.
Just sort of make your way down there. I don't think that's Pam in the middle there.
Hey, where's Pam?
Yeah, where's Pam?
Where's Pam?
Logan Forsythe. 9 in a row set down by. There's Pam. All right. Hi, Pam.
Happy birthday, Pam.
Wait, she's got a button. What's it say? It's my birthday. Well, that's appropriate. 26. The cake says 40, Pam. Some kind of mix-up on the age. Well, she doesn't look a day over 26, BB. I'll say that.
Absolutely.
Great job by the D-backs fans to get together with Pam, celebrate her birthday out there at the RamTrucks.com pool. See, that should say happy 26th. So we'll have to send somebody down there and correct that.
There are rumors that the RamTrucks.com pool is really the fountain of youth. I mean, she may have been 40 when she showed up out there today, but
I don't know.
She's getting younger by the minute.
I jumped in there in April, and I've never felt older. More or less cool. Right back up the middle. 6th hit for the Padres. They have a 1 on base runner in the 7th. Logan Forsythe 1 for 3.
Forsythe is a guy with good speed, can run in limited playing time. He's 3 out of 4 in stolen bases. The Padres, as a team, have stolen 81 bases this year, been caught only 20 times. They really picked their spots well.
Well, that snapped a 1 for 19 skid for Forsythe. So with a 1 out and runner on first, here is Rene Rivera, the catcher. He has singled and struck out, 1 for 2. Rivera from Puerto Rico, 2nd round pick by the Mariners in 01. This is a guy who did not play in the major leagues from 2007 through the 2010 season. He has a hung in, longtime AAA player. Now at the age of 29. Speaking of birthdays, he'll turn 30 coming up in a few days here, July 31st. '84 pitches for Patrick Corbin, 63 for strikes. Forsythe bluffs. There's the strike. Montero throws. He's back in time. That's Pam's cake. We have done the best we could. Well, the key is really just eat that part first.
Yeah. Get the number off the cake as quickly as possible.
Fundamentals. The 0-1. Another throw over. Keep a close eye on Logan Forsythe, who has 3 stolen bases this year. He's been caught once. Rene Rivera was not in the big leagues last year. He spent all last season playing for the Twins AAA team in Rochester. Hit .226. Bob, we talked on Friday about how nice it was for everyone with the Diamondbacks putting up all those numbers offensively, 10 runs, 17 hits, getting a chance to just breathe easier and relax and have some fun. And now here we are, in a 1-0 game again, grinding it out.
Grit your teeth. We talked about the T-shirts that the Diamondbacks wore in spring training in the early part of the season. Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Forsythe holds it first. There's a strike, 2-2. He's got a catcher's build, if you know what I mean. I mean, let's face it, he's built like a catcher.
When you get up and down out of a crouch, upwards of 500 times a day between the bullpen and the regular game, you're going to have some big, stocky quads.
I mean, that's what a catcher's supposed to look like, especially a backup catcher.
Firm base.
Yeah. Been grinded through places like Rochester and Tucson and up and down between AAA and the major leagues. 2-2. Lifted in the air to right center field. A.J. Pollock backing up near the pool in front of the warning track. He's got it. And that's the second out. Forsythe back to the ball. And now with 2 outs in the 7th, Tyson Ross, the pitcher, will hit. Working on a 2-hit shutout so far. Ross singled in the 2nd and lined out to short in the 5th.
Get off me, ball. That one came to eat right there. Tyson Ross lucky he didn't break his bat or his thumbs on that one. Fastball works its way inside. Just fights it off and out of play. Patrick has seemed to have found a spot here
where he's vulnerable.
Yeah.
Is it inside?
Apparently so.
0-2.
Ross shot a base hit into right field back in the 2nd, hit a line drive to short in the 5th, but not this time.
There's the strikeout now. 7 strikeouts for Patrick Corbin. He's through 7, trails at 1-0. Fun times at the RamTrucks.com pool, but the Diamondbacks need some hits.
Fry's Food Stores is ready to take you to a D-backs game. stop by this month's participating Cox retail store in Tucson and Fry's Food Store in Globe to enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus. You'll receive round-trip transportation to the D-backs game on August 11th or September 1st. For more information, visit foxsportsarizona.com. There's the people that rode to the ball game today on the Fan Express. Just look at their faces. They're having a great time. Just got done singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" here at Chase Field. Tyson Ross pitching a gem here this afternoon. Surrendered only 2 base hits through the first 6 innings of this ball game. He'll face the middle of the Diamondbacks order here. Eric Chavez, Miguel Montero, and A.J. Pollock need to get a runner on. Put some pressure on this Padres defense.
He has been nasty so far, that's for sure. Hey fans, MLB.com at bat. #1 source for live baseball everywhere you go. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers D-backs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, news, highlights, and the whole thing. So text At Bat to 31826 or visit dbacks.com for details. You're watching that on a bus and a plane on the flight to Tampa Bay. Where? Tampa. You got it. So here's Chavez, Montero, and Pollock in the Arizona 7th, down 1-0. Another tight ball game here at Chase Field. You know, Bob, it's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how to keep from going under.
Me too.
Chavez singled in the 2nd, struck out in the 4th. Got the classic 80s walk-up music, Grandmaster Flash. Is that 80s? Yeah, that's 80s. It's hard to tell anymore. When you reach a certain point, you can't remember what decade that song was from.
Back in the day.
That's right. Want to know?
A little better look at the slider that time. You may recall Eric Chavez back in that 4th inning chasing the Tyson Ross slider down and in. Just didn't appear to be identifying that pitch well, but got a good look at that one and took it in the dirt for a ball.
Right back to the mound. Tyson Ross is now set down 13 of the last 14 he's faced. The last Diamondbacks hit was Cliff Pennington's triple to lead off the 3rd. Since then, only 1 walk issued by Ross. That's been the only Diamondback base runner. Miguel Montero and his walk-up music. He's 0 for 2 so far.
Could have something to do with the walk-up music.
Well, he's had a bit of a power surge over the last month, Miggy. 5 home runs, 9 RBI since June 29th. Back in the lineup for a 2nd day in a row now after 4 days off during the homestand. A couple of hits last night, including his 9th homer. There's Will Nieves, who did a tremendous job, mostly through that Cubs series, doing most of the work behind the plate. Now that's one of the Miggy swings that's sort of a thing. Okay, that's where he's not going away. When they look like that. The home run swing we saw last night, still, quiet, everything looked great. That swing looked a little different. There's the strikeout. That's now 7 for Ross, 2 down in the 7th.
I mean, there are certain counts in a ball game and certain situations, depending on score and where you're at in the game, that you want to see your guys that are capable of hitting home runs on a 3-0, 3-1, 2-0 count. Go up there and take a swing meant to do some serious damage. But unfortunately, Miggy does it a lot of times in counts that aren't suited to try to hit the ball out of the ballpark. You just want to put the ball in play.
A.J. Pollock walked to lead off the 5th. He has been the 1 Diamondback base runner since the first batter of the 3rd when Pennington tripled. 2-1.
Taking a look around the National League West today, the Rockies and the Brewers tied up at 3 in the bottom half of the 6th. Dodgers and Reds scoreless in the top of the 7th. Giants and Cubs tied up at 1 in the bottom half of the 6th inning. A great pitchers duel in Miami today. Garrett Cole from the Pittsburgh Pirates against Jose Fernandez from the Miami Marlins. That ended up a 3-2 victory for the Marlins today.
We saw Fernandez here earlier this year for the Marlins at Chase Field. High in the air to center field. Venable at the track. And Tyson Ross has set down 15 of the last 16 Diamondbacks. He's working on a 2-hit shutout through 7. Hey, get ready, fans. Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you want, and shows and specials that only Fox would bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, and it's coming August 17th. Top of the order against Patrick Corbin here in the San Diego 8th. Cabrera will lead it off. Cabrera, Denorfia, and Headley here. Corbin has struck out 7. He's given up 6 hits and only 1 run. Padres scored the game's only run in the first. After Corbin had recorded the first 2 outs of the ball game, Chase Headley tripled, Carlos Quentin singled, and that has been all the scoring so far. As usual, Patrick Corbin, who was right at the top of the list among major league starters with first pitch strikes. Efficient as always. Pitch number 95 on the way, misses there, 2-1. 95 pitches now for Patrick, 70 for strikes. Everett Cabrera, a switch hitter, much better from the right-hand side of the plate than from the left. In fact, he's 100 points better as a right-hand hitter. 355 as a righty. Drop that one in for a strike, 2-2.
We've seen Patrick do a little more of that today, dropping that slider on the outside part of the plate to right-handed hitters.
They don't listen, BB. We told them, start with the 40, get that out of there, and then
just trying to help.
There's the strikeout. That's 8 for Corbin. 1 down in the 8th.
Hey fans, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game.
Well, Patrick Corbin had back-to-back games with 10 strikeouts. And he might be on his way to another one here. He's got 8 so far. Here's Chris Denorfia. He's 0 for 3. Patrick Corbin, not a whole lot of base runners ever against Patrick. He's got a walks plus hits per innings pitched rate that's 4th best in the National League. And he's ringing up the strikeout totals. He had 26 strikeouts in his previous 3 games, and he's got 8 today.
Now, Pam is supposed to be sitting down on her birthday, having other people serve her the birthday cake.
Yeah, this is. We really like the whole idea, and organizationally it appeared fine, but in terms of the execution, things have sort of come off the rails here. Cliff Pennington. 2 up, 2 down in the 8th. Yeah, she should be sitting out there. Well, she should be floating in the pool.
Feet up,
glass of champagne, whatever you want up there. They're making quick work of that cake.
Yes, they are. Who needs a fork?
Chase Headley tripled and scored in the first. He's 1 for 3. Eric Chavez. A 1-2-3-8. Bottom half coming up. Diamondbacks need a run. Diamondbacks trail the Padres 1-0 as we start the home half of the 8th inning at Chase Field against Tyson Ross, who has been pitching an absolute dandy here tonight. He's retired the last 9 he's faced and 15 of the last 16. He's had 4 1-2-3 innings in the ball game. He'll work to Parra, Pennington, and the pitcher spot here in the 8th. Diamondbacks have not had a hit since Pennington led off the 3rd with a triple. They've had only 1 base runner, in fact, since then. That was A.J. Pollock's walk to lead off the 5th. Padres bullpen is busy from both sides. Parra 0 for 2 and 4 for his last 52. Bob Tyson Ross going to hand it to him. Pitched well his last time out against the Milwaukee Brewers at Miller Park, and he's been even better today. Hard to second. Forsythe has it, 1 away.
I got to tell you, partner, I was just thinking when we played the Rockies earlier this year, and Todd Helton made the comment about Patrick Corbin that it was the best left-handed slider he's seen. I don't know that I've seen a better slider than Tyson Ross is throwing today as a right-handed pitcher. That is absolutely nasty.
Well, it looks like it's going to be it for Patrick Corbin. Pitcher spot is due up next, and Cody Ross is in the on-deck circle. Diamondbacks trailing 1-0. They've had only 2 hits. So it will be Pennington and then apparently Ross here in the game. Base hit. Just the 3rd tonight for the Diamondbacks. 2 by Cliff Pennington. He tripled in the 3rd, and now he's singled here with 1 out in the 8th. That ends a stretch of 10 straight set down by Ross.
And with a runner on base, Cody Ross has been called back. It looks like Martin Prado is now going to take the at-bat for Patrick Corbin.
And you want Martin Prado up there the way he has swung the bat lately. He has been outstanding as of late. hitting almost 370 over his last 10 games. And just because you come in as a pinch hitter doesn't mean the pre-at-bat routine changes. And with Cody Ross spending most of that at-bat out there on deck, Brad Ziegler apparently ready in case the Diamondbacks take the lead here. Martin with his pre-at-bat routine, a little off pace. And so now he will work his way up.
And Todd Tischer, the home plate umpire, with a couple of looks over to the on-deck circle, wondering, hey, what's taking so long? Yeah, you gotta stick with the program.
That's right. The way he's hitting, don't change a thing.
Boy, Martin will have a huge hole on that right side of the infield with Pennington getting that base hit through the left side of the infield. Yonder Alonso now be forced to hold him on over there at first base. Forsythe cheating a little bit towards second base in anticipation of a possible double play. Big hole on the right side.
There's the ball, 1-0. Martin Prado since June 25th, batting almost .340. He has been arguably over the last 3 weeks the best bat in this lineup. Closing the books on a terrific July. Long pause by Ross at the belt. There's a strike, 1-1. Cliff Pennington 2 for 2 in stolen base attempts this year. Chavez singled in the second. Pennington tripled in the third. Pollock walked in the fifth. And now Pennington single in the eighth. The only Diamondback base runners today against Tyson Ross, who's coming up on 100 pitches. 2-1. There it is.
Yeah, a little bit of a flinch that time from Martin Prado. I mentioned how tough it is for hitters to pick up the rotation. He thought that was going to be a fastball up and in, and just dive bombed down to that inside corner for a called strike. Gotta believe another slider here. That's been his go-to pitch in the second part of this ball game.
Went down and got it, and Forsythe tracks it down at second. Pennington back to the bag in time. Nice play there by Logan Forsythe, the second baseman, for the second out. Looked like that had a chance to drop in a shallow right. Instead, it's the second out, and here's Adam Eaton.
And we've seen Forsythe at least on 3 different occasions. When he gets to the ball, you see Prado hitting it right off the end of the bat. Look at that bat wiggling. Ideally, when you hit one off the barrel, off the sweet spot of the bat, there are no vibrations. But Forsythe, on 3 different occasions, not only has made the play, but looked to continue the play. He was ready to throw to first base right there if Pennington was too far off the bag. Yeah, always anticipate the next play. You can always stop. If there's no play, you can always hold the throw. But if you wait to see what's going on and then decide to try to make the second play, you're not going to have enough time.
Adam Eaton 0 for 3. 10 hits in 14 games since his return from the elbow injury. Pitch number 100. In there for a strike, 0-1. Both relievers warming up for San Diego are ready. They are standing and watching at this point. Pennington holds it first. Adam Eaton bunts it right back to Ross. Trying to bunt for a base hit. Instead, the pitcher is there fielding his position, and they strand the one-out single. We're through 8. It's still 1-0. the sweeping visual mosaic that is the Fox Sports Phantom Cam. Great to have toys for the guys in the truck all weekend long here. Thanks to Fox Sports for use of the Phantom Cam, giving those great slow motion shots all weekend long at 3,000 frames per second. And Brad Ziegler is in to open up the ninth. Cliff Pennington, a long backhand throw. They got him. Cliff Pennington. Well, he's got 2 of the Diamondbacks' 3 hits today, and he's got their best defensive play so far.
Had to go a long way just to get to that baseball, able to find a grip and throw across, and Quentin finally comes into your picture over there at first base. Boy, nicely done by Cliff Pennington. So accurate with that throwing arm under any circumstance, whether his feet are planted or whether he's on the move.
There's Will Venable. Came into the game midway through. His first at bat today. Brad Ziegler's 54th appearance of the year. He last worked Thursday in the win over the Cubs. He got the save, his 5th of the year. Todd Tishner says ball. Brad has appeared in 8 straight games without giving up an earned run. He's got just 6 hits allowed over that span with 5 saves. Hard hit to center. A.J. Pollock. It drops in front. And that's the 7th hit for the Padres.
Hey, while we have a quick moment here, I'd like to congratulate Paul Hagen, fine writer, graduate of Ohio University, for winning this year's J.G. Taylor Spink Award. It's the award given by the Baseball Writers Association of America, named after J.G. Taylor Spink, the publisher of the Sporting News. Paul Hagen, one of the good guys in the sport, works back in Philadelphia right now. Congratulations to Paul.
Induction day today in Cooperstown, New York. Yonder Alonso. Boy, Alonso hitting over 300 in 12 games since he returned from a hand injury. Had a broken bone in that right hand, missed 39 games. Oh, 2. Brad Ziegler this year, #1 in games, pitches per batter, ground ball to fly ball. Nobody throws more ground balls than this guy. And he's really helped settle things down back there, BB, in this new role.
Well, he is such an extreme ground ball pitcher. You can certainly envision a situation at some point in the future where Kirk Gibson utilizes the 5-man infield late in a close game. Runner at third base, bring that extra infielder in. We've seen Joe Madden do that from time to time. Mike Scioscia's done it from time to time.
There's another ground ball. Eric Chavez has it as Vettel moves up to second.
It seems to make a lot of sense. If the guy is unlikely to hit a fly ball to the outfield, why not bring one of the outfielders into the infield where he is more likely to hit the ball?
And Joe Madden's he's a guy that does shifts all the time and has a different lineup all the time. He'll do a little bit of everything. How about Brad Ziegler on the Phantom Cam? It looks like one of those things where they hold your arm behind your back.
Uncle.
Oh, wow. Logan Forsythe singled his last time up. 7 hits for the Padres, 6 are singles.
I mean, it looks uncomfortable at natural speed. That's excruciating on the Phantom Cam.
Forsythe spent much of the first half of the year with a nagging foot injury. He opened the season on the DL, missed the Padres' first 63 games. Phantom Cam, part 2.
And you wonder why pitchers put ice on their arm after a ball game.
Look at imagine the torque on the elbow. See the grip with the fingers there on the Phantom Cam at 3,000 frames per second. goes down the line and right without a play. I don't know what Mitch Riggin is going to do now they've taken the Phantom Cam away from him after today's game. There is the Phantom Cam. Mitch has been known to attach cameras to the ends of baseball bats on top of remote controlled helicopters, dogs.
And the way technology continues to improve and move forward, I mean, that Phantom Cam is unbelievable as it is, but we don't have the ability to zoom in and zoom out with the Phantom Cam. You kind of have to pick your spot and anticipate and leave it focused on that particular spot. By this time next year, oh man, we'll have that thing wired in.
There's Trent on the Phantom Cam. You see how he's got to line up the shot so you can see Brad move into the shot as he rings up Forsythe for the strikeout that ends the top of the ninth. Diamondbacks will head to the bottom of the ninth, down one. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Due up for Arizona in the ninth. Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt, and Eric Chavez down 1-0. Ram trucks, tools of the trade. Tyson Ross has been outstanding, a career high in innings. He gave up only 3 hits. He had 7 strikeouts.
Well, one of the more impressive pitching performances we've seen against the Diamondbacks this year. He was really, really good. And with Jason Marquis done for the season, Padres were looking for somebody to plug into that rotation. I think they found their guy.
He was outstanding Tuesday at Milwaukee. 6 innings of 2-hit balls, 6 strikeouts. Today at Chase Field, 8 innings of 3-hit ball with 7 strikeouts. And those are our Ram trucks, tools of the trade. A career high in innings for Tyson Ross, who has been up and down, in and out of the bullpen, a AAA guy, a Major League guy this year. 101 pitches, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, only 3 hits, and he'll turn it over to the closer. On for the Padres, this is Houston Street. He got his 18th save Thursday at Milwaukee, a perfect 1-2-3 inning to get number 17 Monday against the Brewers.
This falls under that heading that we've used many times this year. Anybody but Ross. I mean, Houston Street is very good, one of the better closers in the National League. Chris Denorpia in left field now, and Lexi Amarista comes into play center, and Will Venable will move over to right field. For the time being, he may switch him around during the course of this inning.
I wouldn't be surprised. Aaron Hill, Paul Goldschmidt, Eric Chavez, 2, 3, and 4 in the Diamondbacks' ninth against Houston Street, down 1-0. D-backs have been out hit 7-3. Aaron Hill 0 for 3. Aaron Hill, 2 hits Thursday against the Cubs, including a home run after a couple of days off. Pair of RBI doubles in Friday's game against the Padres before Kirk Gibson pulled him out as a precaution with hamstring tightness. Back in there today. Career numbers against Houston Street. Headley. One away. Twitter poll results, AT&T Twitter poll. Majority of the DH starts on the road trip as we go to Tampa Bay, Texas, and Boston. Well, 40% say Cody Ross, who played in the American League East last year. We'll see how Gibby plays it, thanks to all of you who voted in our AT&T Twitter poll. Here's Goldie. He's 0 for 3. And right now in a 2 for 19 skid. Both his 2 hits during that skid, home runs. 1-0. Diamondbacks, Bob Brenly, have not been shut out at home this year. They have been shut out twice, once at Atlanta and once in San Francisco. And there is a gap you could land a plane through right now in left center field. This is a team that's been here before and usually responds. Maurice to the center fielder is way over toward the pool. Look at that gap in left center field. And Bob, as you've mentioned before, when you see something like that up there with a guy like Goldie, it's because they're going to pitch him away.
Yeah, you would expect him just to stay away here. Sinkers on the outside corner, sliders working their way off the outside corner of the plate. But as I've said many times, big league pitchers make mistakes. If he would happen to leave one over that inside part, that gap in left center is very tantalizing.
2-2. Struck him out, 2 down.
Third baseman, Eric Chavez.
Second time Paul was struck out tonight. So it's up to Eric Chavez. One more look from the Phantom Can.
That slider moving down and away. You see him taking his top hand off the bat. They're really trying to extend out there and get a piece of that ball, at least to stay alive, but came up empty.
Eric Chavez, 1 for 3, singled in the second. Eric has 6 hits in his last 5 games at .301 on the year. These two teams combined for 20 hits on Friday, 15 hits last night, only 10 today. Popped him straight up in the air, and this should do it. Chase Headley. And for the first time this season, the Diamondbacks are shut out at home at Chase Field. Only 3 hits, and they lose it 1-0. Just the 3rd time this year the Diamondbacks have been shut out. Tyson Ross was simply brilliant for his 2nd consecutive start for San Diego. And the Padres come in here, Bob, and take 2 of 3.
Do a little soul searching on that plane flight to Tampa. The offense has got to find a way to get some consistency in their effort. Get more runners on base, put more pressure on the defense. This was a relatively easy outing today for Tyson Ross and Houston Street.
Diamondbacks manage only 3 hits, 2 by Cliff Pennington, who had a triple and a single. So it's a 1-0 Padre final here at Chase Field. We keep an eye on the Dodgers. This is apparently contagious with NLS frontrunners today. The Reds and Dodgers right now scoreless in the 8th inning at Dodger Stadium. The Diamondbacks shut out for only the 3rd time all year and the 1st time here at Chase Field. We will see you again Tuesday from Tampa Bay, 1-2 against the Rays here on Fox Sports Arizona. But first, lots to talk about with this one. We throw it out to Cindy Brunson.
Fellas, thanks so much. In front of more than